right, so now that we've learned the law of sines, where we at least had to have an angle and the side opposite it to be able to work out the problem, now we're going to talk about the law of cosines. So this would be what I'd call a side, 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 or a side angle side situation. So if we take a look, we want to ask, can we use the law of sines to solve the following triangle? So take a moment to draw that triangle out and see if there's a way, like set up your law of sines, pause the video, sorry, set up your law of sines and see if you could solve this triangle. So hopefully you saw that the answer is no, because I don't have little b and there's no way to get little b, nor is there a way to get angle A or angle C. So I can't get an anchor fraction where I know the measure of the angle and the side opposite it. So instead I want to use something called the law of cosines. So you don't necessarily have to write down all this work. I just want you to understand that things like this don't come from magic. So you'll notice that I dropped a height down from A. And so this opposite side is little a, this opposite side is little c, and this opposite side is little b. And so what I did is I let the distance from this height to c be called x. And so if I chop off x, I'm left with a minus x on this side. And so it does give us two right triangles, and that gives us two equations. So I've got using Pythagorean theorem, using this triangle on the left, I have a minus x quantity squared plus h squared is equal to c squared. And so if I simplify this, that was foiling the a minus x quantity squared. And then on the right-hand side, I've got x squared plus h squared is equal to b squared using Pythagorean theorem. And so we want to use substitution because, again, the height for each triangle is exactly the same segment. So if I subtract x from both sides, I get h squared is equal to b squared minus x squared. So substituting for h squared in this blue statement right here, I took h squared and called it b squared minus x squared. And again, you don't have to copy all this down unless you want to, so you could press pause and copy it down, or you can just kind of follow along, agreeing or disagreeing with my substitution. All right, so cleaning this up, since there's a positive 1 in front of this parentheses, I can drop the parentheses, and I notice this x squared cancels with this negative x squared. So we're left with a squared minus 2ax plus b squared is equal to c. So that's what we have. So we want to consider the measure of angle C. So if we're looking at angle C, notice in this equation, if I know A and I know B and I know C, then I would be able to find the other, sorry, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I want to be able to try and find everything about the triangle, but this X was something we made up for this problem. So we don't want that X in there. We want to find a way to get rid of that. So if we consider angle C, notice, again, we're trying to get rid of that x. So my adjacent is x and my hypotenuse is b. So cosine of c is x over b. So if I cross multiply, we get x is equal to b cosine of c. And so again, in this statement, I wanted to get rid of x. So if I do that, I can substitute x with b cosine of c right here. And so if we clean this up, that means I've got c squared on one side, so they flipped it over to the other. I've got an a squared and a plus b squared, so that I just put together right here. And then cleaning this up, this is just minus 2ab cosine c. So it's really interesting that this left-hand side looks just like the Pythagorean theorem, but because my original triangle doesn't have to be a right triangle, I've made an adjustment. So this is the adjustment for it not being a right triangle. So this is what you do need to write down is we've got, and so notice again, this is the Pythagorean theorem where A is the hypotenuse, and then we're going to use B and C are the same, and then this A matches this big A. Here, Pythagorean theorem where B is the hypotenuse, and then A and C stay A and C right here, and then little b becomes the big B over here. And then finally for c squared, that's the one that we just figured out. So this is Pythagorean theorem right here, where the A and the B are going to be in front of my cosine, and the little c becomes the big C with the cosine. So again, it's the law of cosines, so don't put a sign there because you'll get the wrong answer. So if you don't have these written down yet, take a moment to pause the video and go ahead and write them down. So you heard me in the intro, they gave me a side here and the length of a side here, and they gave me the measure of this angle here. So if we were talking about those measures equal to another triangle's measures, we would say they were congruent by side angle side theorem. And so remember when we talked about the law of sines, we wanted angle side angle or angle angle side. So this isn't something we could use for the law of sines. So on this one, I know the measure of angle B. So that means I want little b on the left. And then finishing up my Pythagorean theorem, I would have a squared plus c squared. So in this case, my b would be like my quote unquote hypotenuse. But because it's not a right triangle, we need to make an adjustment. So that adjustment is minus 2 times each of these times the cosine of this one's angle. So then we're going to substitute what we know. I don't know b. I know that a is 5. I know that c is 8. And I know that big B is 78 degrees. So the beautiful thing is, if I go ahead and take the square root right now, then I won't be approximating anything. I would just plug everything I see into my calculator. So in this case, and my calculator is going to give me a parentheses here, so I'm going to make sure to close the parentheses as well. So I'm going to take the square root of, and then I'm going to type it just like I see it. Even if you had a backwards calculator, you're going to type it like you see it, except for this would be 78 cosine. And then after the fact, you'll plug in the square root. So that's the backward part. So in my case, I've got 5 squared plus 8 squared minus 2 times 5 times 8 times the cosine of 78. So I'm going to close my cosine of 78 and close my radical, and I get that little b is now approximately 8.5. All right. And so I think the example said solve the triangle. So that means this is 8.5. So if we said A, B, C, and then little a, little b, little c, that means that I've got big B is 78. I have that little a is 5. Little b is about 8.5. And little c is 5. Totally went the wrong way, sorry. So A is 5, there we go. C is 8. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, so here's the situation. Normally we don't like to use approximated values to find other values, but in this case there is no getting around it. So we've got to use this little b. And so if we go back to our law of sines, we said that we have the sine of A over little a is equal to the sine of B over little b is equal to the sine of C over little c. So that means we don't know big A, but my little a is 5. We don't know big B. No, we do know big B, I apologize. That's the sine of 78 over 8.5. And then we've got the sine, we don't know big C, but my little c is 8. Okay, now here's a little issue with law of sines. Law of sines will never find, oops, not will, it will never find an obtuse answer. So that means you never want to go searching for the largest angle using the law of sines. So in this case, do you see that 8 is the longest side? I take that back. 8.5 is the longest side, so I would not want to use the law of sines to find angle B. So luckily, we already know that it's acute, so we're done with that. So it doesn't matter if I choose to find A or C. So here, this is my anchor. And so I'm going to say the sine of A over 5 is equal to the sine of 78 over 8.5. Now we could cross multiply, but that actually causes a lot more work. I'm just going to multiply both sides by 5 so that these cancel. And so I have that the sine of A is equal to, and I'm going to leave a little bit of space right there. So I have 5 times the sine of 78 all over 8.5. And then remember, to get rid of sine, we would take the inverse sine. So this cancels with this. So I'm going to say, and like I said, if you have a backwards calculator, use the parentheses and work all this out, and then close it and take the inverse sine. Or with a forward calculator, you're going to say inverse sine, and they gave me a parenthesis, so 5 times the sine of 78, and then I'm going to close that 78, divided by 8.5, and then close it for that inverse sine. And we get that the measure of angle A is going to be 35 degrees. So over here, that means this is 35 degrees. Okay, now I don't have to use law of sines to find big C because I already have the measure of 2 of my angles. So let's do 35 plus 78 plus C gives me 180. And so if I do 180 minus 35 minus 78, I get that big C is equal to 67 degrees. And so now I can say that I have solved the triangle because I have all 3 angles and I have all 3 side lengths.